Hello, and welcome to this roundtable discussion. I'm Elizabeth Downs, Professor of Instructional Technology at Georgia Southern University. This roundtable was co-authored by Cordelia Zinskie, Professor of Educational Research, also at Georgia Southern University. This roundtable discussion will present an overview of a case study of a virtual field experience for in-service K-12 teachers. So what a difference a few months makes. When this roundtable proposal was submitted to AECT for the 2020 conference, we had just started hearing about COVID and schools in the United States were still open. Within a few weeks, all of that would change. Very quickly, schools were shut down. At first, it was thought this would be temporary, but soon it became evident that face-to-face instruction in schools would end for the rest of the academic year. So, in spring 2020, teachers and schools scrambled to offer instruction to millions of quarantined students from preschool to graduate school. Clearly, most educators were not at all prepared to deliver instruction remotely. The need to quarantine that caused such a drastic change in the educational system continues through this fall 2020 semester. Historically, virtual K-12 schools were established to provide advanced placement or to give students the opportunity to take electives that might not be available at their schools. Virtual schools also existed to provide options for students who wanted to complete their education outside of the traditional school setting, or who had not been successful in traditional school settings. Previous research notes that educators would eventually most likely be called upon to serve K-12 students in online, blended, and traditional learning environments. Prior to the pandemic, the expectation was that over time, teachers would need to adapt to teaching in all of those different learning environments. The pandemic, of course, has made this prediction a reality literally overnight. While the certification process to teach in a traditional face-to-face classroom is straightforward and well established, the process for seeking the credentials to teach in an online classroom is not clearly defined. At present, there are various paths available for teachers who wish to receive credentials to teach in a K-12 online environment. Nationally, K-12 online schools appear to be doing the majority of the training for teachers who wish to work in their online environments. Another problem is that there is not much dialogue occurring between the K-12 online schools and institutions of higher education where most pre-service teacher education occurs. Some colleges of education are beginning to look at this underserved segment of K-12 teacher training. The State of Georgia Professional Standards Commission offered the opportunity for universities to apply to become a provider for an online teaching and learning endorsement for K-12 teachers. The Instructional Technology program at Georgia Southern University designed a 3-course sequence to meet this need. The first course, ITEC 8134, is Theories and Models of Instructional Design. The second course, ITEC 8135, is the Pedagogy of Online Learning. And the third course, ITEC 8136, is the Field Experience in Online Teaching and Learning. These courses were designed to be a part of the Instructional Technology EDS program of study. In addition, graduate students can also take the 3-course sequence as a standalone program. ITEC 8136, the Field Experience in Online Teaching and Learning, is a 15-week practicum that occurs completely online in the Georgia Virtual School, or GAVS. The students in the course are required to have active Georgia teaching certificates to participate in the Georgia Virtual School classrooms. The Georgia Virtual School also requires all of the ITEC 8136 students to complete FERPA training. At the conclusion of the FERPA training, the students pass their test certificate to the Georgia Virtual School Teacher Training Specialist. The ITEC 8136 students are then placed in following various Georgia Virtual School classrooms. The content in those classes include algebra, nutrition, economics, and anatomy and physiology. It is not possible for all of the ITEC 8136 students to be matched with their current areas of expertise, but they are placed into a classroom based on the availability of a GABS mentor teacher. The ITEC 8136 students are placed in a variety of classrooms. However, their role in each of the classrooms is that of observer. They are not provided with opportunities to work directly with the students. This is different from traditional field placements. In those placements, practicum students usually have a direct impact on student learning, and they benefit from those observations. Another difference between traditional face-to-face experiences and the online field experience occurs in the development of instruction. In traditional classrooms, teachers are responsible for the design and development of all aspects of instruction. In contrast, most of the instruction for online classes is not developed by the teachers. The students in the field placement completed weekly observations in the virtual school. It gave the students the opportunity to observe many different aspects of the online classroom, including things like the learning environment, how teachers communicate with the students, how ethics, equity, and diversity are addressed in the online environment, how are students with special needs adapted for the online environment. Students also had a chance to look at the instructional design of the courses, how the mentor teachers use the information systems and tools provided, as well as professional development opportunities that are available for the mentor teachers. As the field practicum students observed each of these topics, they journal their observations and then reflect on what they have observed. This case study reflects the content of journals from 2015 through 2019. Each semester, there are between 10 and 20 students enrolled in the course. At the beginning of the field experience, the students have an opportunity to interview their mentor teachers. Many of them have similar questions regarding online teaching. The interviews of their mentor teachers include questions regarding why they chose to teach online, identifying the benefits of online teaching for the students, describing any challenges associated with teaching online, identifying the ability to establish community in online courses, how to meet state standards for curriculum and testing in online courses, the effectiveness of online teaching compared to traditional face-to-face teaching, and the technology tools that the teachers used. Weekly observations in the virtual school provide students with opportunities to observe many different aspects of the online classroom. At the completion of their virtual field experience, students are asked to comment on what stood out to them regarding the online teaching experience. Some of the common themes that emerged from the students' journals include a surprise over the level of autonomy and flexibility that online teachers are given, a perception that online teachers do not have a personal connection with their students, and the positive aspect of providing students with differentiated instruction and the ability to learn at their own pace. These are some of the typical positive responses that students had about their experiences. Some of the students, after spending a semester observing in a virtual school, conclude that they would like to teach online and be a part of the Georgia Virtual School experience. Other students in the field experience found some of the downsides to online teaching, such as the amount of preparation time, the amount of time spent with students, the lack of face-to-face interaction, and the lack of creativity because the instruction is already prepared. At the present time, much of the training for teachers who wish to teach in online K-12 schools occurs within the virtual schools. This differs greatly from teacher preparation for traditional face-to-face classroom. The traditional model typically requires extensive college coursework, face-to-face field placements, and completion of state tests. The Instructional Technology Program at Georgia Southern University currently offers an endorsement for in-service teachers who wish to teach in K-12 virtual schools. The final course in the endorsement provides a field experience in an online school. As a result of this experience, the practicum participants were allowed to explore all aspects of the online classroom. The practicum participants work with mentor teachers who spend time helping the practicum students complete required projects. The practicum teachers were in the classroom as observers and did not provide any direct instruction to the GAVS students. The practicum participants were very positive about the overall practicum experience. One surprising outcome for the students was the discovery that most of the course design and development is not done by the GAVS faculty. Instead, teams of instructional designers create the content and coursework. Another surprising finding for the field placement students was the amount of time the online teachers spend working with their students. As a result of completing the practicum, students have different reactions as to whether they might want to pursue positions in online schools. That concludes this roundtable discussion. Thank you very much for your participation. At this time, we welcome any comments or questions.